Hi, dear friends. Welcome back to Akshadare. I'm Devraj. I hope you guys working towards to improve our communication in English and learning read and earning read. Today is 7th November 2023. So I hope you guys are utilizing the opportunity which were given by the Akshadare auntie. And before going to start today's newspaper reading, I would request you guys to please subscribe the channel, like and comment. If you like the video, please share with your friends. It may be useful for somebody to utilize the opportunities from the Akshadari and the tea. So let's start reading the newspaper, The Hindu, which is very important for the competitive exams. This is the front page. Israeli forces found northern Gaza hard even rule for vehicles to return on November 13. Finalize menstrual hygiene policy. SC. Battle begins. Farmer driver held for murder of geologist in Bangalore. The Canadian dream is not waning. However, there are clouds of uncertainty. Resurgent Afghans take up the RCs. Governors delaying crucial bills, a matter of concern, says SC. CJ asks why government should be made to approach the court for governors to act. He adds matters must be sorted out between them and the CMs. The governor should not be oblivious of the fact that they are not elected by the people. Power situation back to normal. Child custody issues. HC initiates PIL. Aftershock rocks Nepal, Delhi. New office bears of Purama former VCs of Karnataka. Families and groups to benefit as Nama Metro to extend QR ticket to multiple passengers soon. Introduced a year ago, QR code ticketing enables passengers to buy one-way transit tickets via WhatsApp and the Nama Metro mobile app. Former driver arrested for murder of geologist in Bangalore. Railway head constable held for joining hands with habitual offender. Driver was furious with Pratima for not reinstating him. Popular shopping destinations come alive ahead of Deepavali. As to initiate CEO Moto APIL to involve psychologists on child custody issues. There is an imminent requirement to have a dedicated facility in the form of experts in the field of human psychology providing the services in the resolution of disputes and to protect the interests of children, says the High Court. A white material inside suspicious boxes is salt. City to get separate earlier for the task force. Forest and Environment Minister Ishwar Khandre's reaction comes in the wake of repeated sightings of leopards in residential areas of Bangalore. Leopard rescued from open well. About 21,000 new cases are registered in Kidwai every year. Property tax payment, BBMP to send SMS reminders. Direct flight services between Bangalore and Munich. Heavy rainfall in city roads flooded. Farmer killed in tiger attack in Bandipur. BMTC to observe November as the Road Safety Month. Training held first off. Teaching Kannada in educational institutions remains a challenge. Private schools affiliated to central boards as CBSE and CISE and following NCERT curriculum have not been teaching Kannada as the first and second language. Union Comes have taken a decision to come out scholarship to children of construction workers. Ministers points to massive rise in number of bogus calls and says the Karnataka Building and other construction workers welfare board received 13 lakh applications for scholarship alone this time. Union Minister alleges injustice to scheduled castes of electricity situation back to normal, says Siddharamaya. State government to waive RES. HC directs the state government to pay 7.25 per unit to JSW Energy for supplying surplus power. Nalwadi Krishnaraja Vadaya Award conferred on HDD. CM meets back at Modi for his comments on state. Wherever he has campaigned, the BJP has lost. The BJP has not appointed leader of opposition yet in Karnataka. This shows their bankruptcy. Bring pressure on government to implement internal reservations, says Muneepa. Reliability key to making public transportation a success, says study. If commuters know that a bus always reaches on time at a particular stop on a route heavy day, there is a reliability boost. Even if the frequency of buses is low on that route, says a research finding. Metro or suburban trains cannot be successful without the bus playing a vital role as a first and a last mile solution. Ninasam Tirugata comes to Bangalore with two new plays. A spectrum begins to emerge. Fresh of her performance at the Bollywood Music Project. Bangalore-based artist Sahana Naresh talks about her latest single and move. Lost in Plain Sight. Tales from Margins. Telangana Congress allots Kothagudem seat to CPI. Vote after checking history of parties, KCR tells people. BRS president says Congress delayed statehood to Telangana by 10 years, blames the party for the water shortage and distressed migration faced by Astwal Mahabub Nagar district. Telangana Congress chief to contest from Kamareddy. CPI's bats for Congress leader facing inquiry. Threat dead, 3 dead, 2 hurt as APSRTC bus rams into passengers. Alcohol-free agri-tourism facilities set up at Chintapalli in ASR district. SC refuses to grant relief to Tamil Nadu Minister Pan Mudi. 50 acres of farmland wiped out in slips in Idukki. 5 men from Tamil Nadu held with red sandals were worth 4 crore. Kerala plans to allow private universities. Death toll in Kalamassery. Multiple blasts rises to 4. Offshore campus of IIT Madras launched. Kerala HC seeks record on college chairman fall. A telco double dip attempt that threatens net neutrality. Let's read this editorial page written by the chairman of Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. In July this year, the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, at the request of the government, invited a comprehensive consultation on the need and possible mechanisms for regulation of over-the-top OTT services. It seems to have stirred up a hornet's nest. For more than a decade now, telecom companies have seen revenue from traditional streams such as voice calls and short message services come under pressure as competing OTT services are often free. At the same time, they have had to invest heavily in upgrading their infrastructure to handle increased data traffic without necessarily seeing an equivalent rise in revenue. It is also their lament that OTT services are not subjected to the same level of taxation and licensing fees, leading to an uneven playing field. On the flip side, the use of OTT services has led to a surge in data consumption, which is a growing revenue stream for telecom companies. Flawed argument that affects net neutrality. The OTT consultation has renewed the clamor from the telecom companies that content providers such as Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Disney's plus Hotstar be asked to share in the cost of bandwidth. They argue that streaming platforms are free riders benefiting from the infrastructure built and maintained by the telecom companies. However, this argument is fundamentally flawed and sets a dangerous precedent that undermines the principle of net neutrality. Telecom companies do not own the internet, rather, they provide access to it. Consumers pay the cost for access services by purchasing data plans. By offering services that consumers desire, OTT platforms generate demand for internet access. They also pay for the content delivery networks to create pathways that substantially augment the capacity of the internet to deliver their content. Telecom companies capitalize on this demand and the availability of OTT content by providing connectivity to the internet and charging subscribers for it. If they fail to cover a cost, so telecom companies are at liberty to increase their prices, which should go towards maintaining and upgrading their infrastructure. One of the requirements for the operation of a fair market is that the costs and benefits of a transaction are fully accounted for in the exchange price. Therefore, any attempt to seek or cross subsidies instead of fully accounting for the cost could warrant scrutiny from the competition commission. OTT services compete in their own market on the basis of variety and quality of content. The quality of streaming, such as support for HD or better resolution or 5.1 surround sound, ease in navigation and discovery of content, and its availability on multiple devices. The consumers pay the price for these benefits as compared to the alternatives. Similarly, in the marketplace for internet access, the consumers are free to choose the provider that offers them the highest bandwidth, data volume, and reliability at an affordable price. These are distinct markets because services from one A are not substitutable for services in the other. Therefore, it is logical to maintain a separation of costs between these two markets. The attempt of telcos to double dip by charging both consumers and content providers is not only avaricious but also undermines net neutrality, as stated above. To better comprehend the fallacy in telcos' demand, let us employ an analogy. Imagine a toll plaza where specific brands or models of vehicles are charged an additional tax directly payable by the manufacturers because they make popular vehicles that tend to cause congestion. If owners of the vehicles pay the regular toll, the more popular vehicles has a category contribute a proportionally higher amount. There is no need for the manufacturers to contribute extra. On the other hand, an additional toll directly collected from the manufacturers would push up the price of popular cars for the buyers, making them less attractive. Likewise, if OTT platforms were to acquiesce to the demands of the telcos, the incurred cost would trickle down to subscribers, either through increased subscription fees or degraded service quality for those platforms unwilling or unable to pay that toll. This outcome can only be detrimental to consumers who have come to rely on OTT services for entertainment, education, and professional pursuits. The net neutrality is the principle that internet access providers must treat all traffic originating from the terminating to the internet in the same way. The idea has been developed over time, but its modern articulation may be largely credited to Columbia Law Professor School Professor Tim who coined the term net neutrality in a 2003 paper titled Network Neutrality, a broadband discrimination. Here, Wu proposed the concept of net neutrality to promote an even playing field on the internet, ensuring that all data is treated equally without a discrimination by internet service providers. Net neutrality draws from earlier notions and principles concerning common carriage, which posit that service to all customers must be provided on a non discriminatory basis. The application of these principles to the modern internet, with its unique technical and economic characteristics, required fresh legal and policy analysis, which Wu and others provided. This principles that has been examined by economists from the perspective of market competition, consumer welfare, and innovation by legal experts for the regulatory frameworks that govern net neutrality and how these laws impact the rights and obligations of internet service providers and content providers and consumers, computer scientists and engineers for detection and enforcement mechanisms that are technology based. and other policy analysis on how it affects different social groups, their political expression, and how it impacts fairness, justice, and equality. Basis of TRAI regulation, net neutrality formed at the basis of TRAI's regulation and prohibition of discriminatory tariffs for data services brought out on February 8, 2016. The regulators' action forced the withdrawal of Facebook's free basic platforms and some other offerings in India. Later on November 28, 2017, TRAI released its comprehensive recommendations, which have largely guided the adoption of this principle in India. These steps taken by TRAI were noted elsewhere in India in the world. The body of European regulators for electronic communications and TRAI adopted a joint statement for an open internet on June 14, 2018, later reaffirmed in 2020. The two organizations agreed through this memorandum of understanding to cooperate in developing technological and policy initiatives for net neutrality. Many other countries have also adopted net neutrality. Thereafter, it is imperative for all stakeholders, including policymakers, to recognize the long-term ramifications of acquiescing to the short-sighted demands of telecom companies. Upholding the principles of net neutrality is not merely about preserving the ethos of an open internet, but is also intrinsic to fostering a conducive environment for innovation, competition, and consumer well-being. Especially countries such as India, where the internet is going to be the carrier of all digital public infrastructure. Let's go to the next editorial part. The cut-up operational the cut-up operational superiority from Israel to India. Israel's prevailing security policy has collapsed. For decades, it projected a mirage of ruthless sophistication as it repeatedly and confidently cut its Palestinian enemies down to size. But the unspeakable orders of October 7 For decades, it projected a mirage of ruthless sophistication as it repeatedly and confidently cut its Palestinian enemies down to size. But the unspeakable horrors of October 7, 2023 have prompted a visceral retaliation in Gaza that brings still unknown risks of escalation on other fronts and the unprecedented suffering of innocent civilians that will ricochet through generations. The catastrophe should prompt a fundamental rethink of Israel's strategic concepts and carries direct warnings for India. 2. Managing their rather than solving. Every couple of years, starting in 2008, Israel launched limited air campaigns into Gaza to degrade the military capabilities from rocket launches to tunnels of Hamas and other militants. Every couple of years, it would kill and destroy just enough of Hamas people and power to keep the rockets silenced and the threat contained. A tenuous peace would return to the skies over history. This strategic concept based on periodic attrition seemed to work, but in fact, Israel's military virtuosity masked the reality that its approach was bereft of a political plan. Israel was managing, not seeking to solve, the problem of Palestinian resistance from which its terrorist enemies sprouted. In parallel with the routine military campaigns, the government of Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu abandoned the two-state solution and actively undermined it. His cynical ploy was to sabotage politics by strengthening extremists such as Hamas at the expense of more credible and popular Palestinian forces, especially the Palestinian Authority that nominally ran the West Bank. Mr. Netanyahu started to keep the Palestinians so hopelessly divided the PA week and to thereby stall the political process for addressing the Israel Palestine dispute. And he succeeded managing a strategic threat through purely military means can work. Until the adversary finds a way in, Israel's strategic concept of periodic attrition only, however, addressed Palestinian groups' capabilities, never their political intent. It was based on an assumption of unassailable Israeli power, a belief that operational superiority alone can deliver strategic effects. Indeed, Israel's operational superiority does provide something of a guarantee. Hamas poses no existential threat to Israel. But short of that, as Hamas showed on October 7, a weaker and highly resolved enemy can still inflict untold physical harm, let alone massive, let alone massive national dislocation, relying on a cult of operational superiority while ignoring the problem's political roots, invites the adversary to hold fast to its unshakable beliefs, cling to violence as the only mode of politics, and to keep trying until it finally lands a meaningful blow. This should sound familiar to Indian ears. India's handling of Pakistan. For almost a decade, aside from some initial feelers, the Narendra Modi government has treated Pakistan as little more than an irritant to an unstoppable rising India. In defense matters, this has included some commendable efforts, facing a more urgent threat on the China border. In 2021, India resuscitated the line of control ceasefire and it re-tasked a dedicated Pakistan facing strike corps to the China border. More could be done to right size the military focus on Pakistan, which for decades has been a sink of resources and military attention. But India was also seduced by the cult of operational superiority, just as in Israel's case. The core of this concept says that a more powerful actor can apply periodic attrition to manage its threats. India has procured new technologies such as the spies, smart, precise, impact, cost effective missiles, adopted new punitive attack options such as in Balakut, and may even be involved in the mysterious assassinations of several anti-India terrorist leaders in Pakistan. Perhaps unsurprisingly, are all of these impressive capabilities are products of India's closer relationship with Israel. They make India stronger, but by themselves, they only enable successful tactics, not effective strategy. Meanwhile, India has rejected the notion of addressing the threat politically. New Delhi abrogated Jammu and Kashmir's autonomous status in 2019, signaling that the Kashmir dispute is now irrevocable, not negotiable, non-negotiable, and maintains that it will not reopen talks with Pakistan as long as cross-border terrorism exists. This seems like a reasonable position. India, as a thriving economy, is diplomatically quoted by the world and brims with the promise of technology fueled dynamism. Why should it get bogged down in a tortuous process full of spoilers where any deal may not be impossible? The answer lies in Israel. Ignoring the political interest at the heart of a rivalry only invites the adversary to dig in and try harder. A political process may have dividends. Dialogue will not extinguish the Pakistan Army's entrenched anti-India ideology, and even less the fervor of its terrorist allies. But detente has broken out among inveterate rivals before, including between Israel and its older Arab enemies. Most recently, Saudi Arabia. Similarly, Pakistan's army and political elite could conceivably gain a stake in at least calming tensions with India and distancing themselves from extremist groups. They have incentives in buttressing economic stability, building capacity to counter anti-state terrorism, and reducing their dependence on China. A grand bargain may be elusive, but starting a political process could address a range of pressing issues from nuclear and missile confidence between measures. to coordination and pop coordination and opening the base bigot on trade and investment. We have seen in the past month the cost of ignoring politics. A weak and highly resolved adversary can still cause untold harm. The cult of operational superiority has produced only more intractable insecurity for Israel, more devastating loss for guardians and possibly ripples of war across the region. Next to India, Pakistan is in the midst of seemingly endless internal tumult and hosts a roiling soup of violent extremism, and it has nuclear weapons. By all means, New Delhi must maintain and reinforce deterrence through the full spectrum of conflict. But managing a strategic threat through purely military means works only until the adversary finds a way in. More light, less sound. To abate noise crisis, governments must prevent making up violative firecrackers. Defection business. Party hopping seems set to stay as parties pick candidates with resources. The Canadian dream is not waning. A fight for the top post. The tussle between Siddharamaiah and DK Kumar persists. The stressful lives of students in Kota, CSDS Lokniti study shows that a majority of the students live alone, sleep less in order to study more, and feel homesick. All governors delaying bills are a matter of concern. SC. India, Bhutan to discuss new routes of regional connectivity. King Jigme Keshar holds talks with PM. The two sides agreed to go ahead with the final survey for the 58-kilometer cross-border rail link between Gulepu and Kokrajhar in Assam. They will also explore a second rail link between Bhutan and West Bengal. Modi, Iranian President Raisi discuss Gaza crisis. Grounds of arrest are not given. Founder of NewsClick. House panel adopts reports on new criminal law bills. Bagil, BJP continues to face up over new Mahadev app video. DMK MP NR Hilango has taken exception to provisions in Bhatyaj Nagarika Suraksha Sanita. Collegium recommends Chief Justices of three High Courts for appointment to SC. Two teenage boys missing in Manipur. Start mobile towers in unaffected areas. SC. EC postpones meet with Congress delegation. In Modi era, the rich are becoming richer and the poor are becoming poorer. Modi is thinking of the poor now because polls are approaching. Buffeted by Manipur storm, Mizoram keeps its own council. Today's contest is expected to be a triangle among the ruling NMNF regional challenger BJP PM and Congress as in 2018, but the equation has been changed by the theme of zoo unification after ethnic clashes broke out in the neighboring state. Brother versus brother are keeping in house MP seat poses query. Former Sikh action and smuggling of Areca nut. Amid hostile topography and extremism, a battle of ballot. Panan threat extra insecurity check for India flights. Odd even vehicle rotation scheme to return in Delhi. Environment Minister Gopal Rai says in person classes to be suspended in all schools till November 10 except for students of class 10 and 12 as air quality in national capital stays severe. Come out with policy for providing sanitary napkins at schools. SC. Amarnath Shrine in Kashmir sees the first vehicular movement. Quad PMDA initiative proof of our commitment to a free Indo-Pacific. Irala Samaria is chief commission commissioner. Government expands Bharat Atta sale to curb rising prices. South Africa to recall all diplomats from Israel due to a Gaza situation. Women, three children killed by Israeli airstrike in Lebanon. CF Shields. Muslim prayer at Paris airport stirs controversy. Government's vows firmness. Nobel Peace Prize laureate Najis Mohammadi goes on hunger strike. Israel forces cut up North Gaza as toll passes 10,000. Casualties are likely to rise as the war turns to close urban combat. Troops are expected to enter Gaza City soon. Israeli media reported, and Hamas militants are likely to fight street by street. Palestinian activists fired for inciting terror. Blinken wraps up West Asia too with a limited success. Australian and Chinese leaders meet in Beijing. Trump testifies at a New York fraud trial that estimates of assets were inaccurate. China urges Myanmar to cooperate to maintain stability on the border. Pre-grains puts a medium-term diesel risks can spur competitive populism. PM's move to extend the scheme unlikely to hurt current year's diesel math unless more populist measures are unveiled ahead of the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Opine Nomura economists a near-term impact including on inflation is seen being manageable. All begins delivery of India's first LNG powered truck. Merge G20 presidency outcome with India policy process. FM. RBI could raise the rates of oil sees sustained rise. Morgan Stanley. Hindustan Petroleum turned to 5,827 crore net profit in quarter 2. Punjab PNB Housing restored corporate lending MD. FADA red flags high inventory levels in PVs. Pilots concerns over fatigue being taken seriously. Albus. Sundaram Finance Q2 standalone net rises 21% to 366 crore. Kohli is absolute best batter in the world, says Ponting. Ponting says India's bowling attack has clearly been the best. Skipper Rohit wins fielding medal after India mauls South Africa. Lost to India in group stage, and eye-opener says Maharaj. Shanto Sakib partnership trumps Sri Lanka century. Well within time, Matthews no regrets at all. Shakib. A record equaled and an Indian win. A perfect birthday gift for Kohli. Australia up against a resurgent Afghanistan has lost poor spot. Cummins men have been on a roll and will look for a sixth win on the trot. As the latter coming into the match after three consecutive victories also stands a chance if it prevails in the next two outings and betters its net run rate. Smith reveals a recurrence of vertigo hopes to play. Afghan team has a great time with Tendulkar. Verstappen wins yet again, but Alonso and Perez steal the show. It's a sleigh of joy for Vidit and Vaishali. Swiatek eases past to Sabalenka enters final. Anmol Preet's Tan helps Punjab lift the trophy. Services to meet Manipur National Games football final. Junior National League nationals gets underway today. Rayo Vallecano votes Real Madrid in thriller. Akshay Bharas finishes second in race 2, wins the third. You have to take the ball bites on, says Samariwala on tackling doping problem. Aditi tops the chart in compound section. Barcelona highest ticket to the knockout rounds. Spirited Afghans have made the cricket world sit up and take note that in an stunning World Cup campaign, Shahid's men have punched above their weight and registered victories against three former World Cup champions may have surprised many. But for the Atalan army, the performance is just an extension of what it was expecting. Swiatek adjusted really well in these conditions, Sabalenka. In our good time and in our bad times, we believed in this team. That's the reason I think we are playing good at cricket in the World Cup, Captain Shahidi. In the Sikkim floods wake, a trial of Azad's line lies white. The South Lonaka Lake is one of the largest and fastest growing glacial lakes in Sikkim and has been a potential hazard for several years. Dan Sugar, a geomorphologist from the University of Calgary, said that as a result of the flood, the lake's area shrank by 16 hectares. The Earth's interior may hold relics of moon forming mega impact. The oddities of terahertz radiation. This is the last two pages, text and context. Subsidized price of the wheat flour Bharat Hatta. Hidden cost added to the global economy-wide food system. The number of Afghans repatriated to Afghanistan. The Palestinian death toll after a month of the ongoing war. Household car ownership declines in Singapore. States in court against their governors. Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and Punjab have approached the Supreme Court to decide a time frame for which governors have to either return or grant. Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and Punjab have approached the Supreme Court to decide a time frame for which governors have to either for return or grant assent to bills passed by legislature. Some of these bills have been sitting with the governors for years. What are the challenges for the new Polish government? How did the Law and Justice Party ruled government strain relations with the European Court of Justice? So what were some of their popular policies, especially with regard to abortions? Know your English. How the personal data of 815 million Indians got breached. An American cybersecurity company has said that the personally identifiable information of many Indian citizens, including Aadhaar numbers and passport details, were being sold on the dark web by a threat actor by the name of PWN 0001. That's bad, yeah. Kamal Hassan, an actor, filmmaker, screenwriter, television presenter, and politician, was born on November 7, 1954. A quiz on the actor and his movies. This is the today news, guys. I hope you guys enjoy the newspaper reading. Continue reading for 2 hours daily. If you are the beginner, it will make you very communicative, very fluent in English in the next 30 days. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like and comment, and leave the comment in the comment box if you have doubts or comments. So, and if you need any videos to be updated, just leave the which videos want to be updated. So I would like to bring those videos in the upcoming days. So see you in the upcoming videos, guys. Have a great day. Bye bye. Take care.